Hi, Joe. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you today, sir?
Pretty good. Nice to
Great,
be. Thanks a
great to
lot.
meet. Great to
Yeah,
meet
sorry.
you.
Yeah, yeah, same here. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be on your podcast.
Yes, sir. My pleasure. Where are you located?
I'm in just outside Houston, Texas.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. How's Houston today?
Uh, Not too hot. That's
Yeah.
better than before.
I'm in
Lit-
Kansas City, and we're finally getting rain for like the first time, and it seems like a month.
Oh, wow. A month is good. We haven't had anything. I mean, I guess we got few showers, but not like few hours in the last, I don't know, 100 plus days now. It's been
Wow. It's wild. It's really
yeah.
wild. Well, let's get into good stuff like your life and your coaching.
Yeah.
Um, and to begin the conversation, I want to the last 3 years with COVID was quite a thing. It did its own thing on all of us. How
Yeah.
did you get through that 3 year period, and how has it changed the way that you do things now?
Oh, wow. That's a wonderful question. And I'm glad you asked it. So I would say the since COVID started, I've been remote. I've always like worked remote. Before that is when the last time I went to an office. And since then, I've undergone personally my meditative practice, I would say, has helped me a lot. And it has made me go even deeper than before. And of course, I had a job until a few months ago when I decided to completely break away and go into like this spiritual value based coaching, meditation coaching and entrepreneurship. But it has been great. My meditative practice really helped me to be, I would say, still deeply connected with everyone. Even though I was not physically close to anybody, I have not sat next to anyone in an office setting since what, March of 2020. But that doesn't affected me at all, personally or physically or mentally. And it's actually it's the other way, completely opposite, where I have been able to completely be connected deeply through this practice emotionally with everyone. And that, I would say, it's been a blessing.
So let's get to the heart and soul of what you do for a living. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of third graders at a career day, and one of the kids says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer that child?
I'm a spiritual life coach that has entered into a business to help others like me, founders and entrepreneurs like me, achieve uncommon growth in their life through a meditative practice.
So, what did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream when you were young?
My dream was to be a doctor like my mom when I grew up because I looked up at or a scientist. So either my mom and dad. My dad was a scientist and my mom was a doctor. So I thought I would be either one of them.
Well, and you're doing wonderful work now. You're in that realm. I mean, it's are
Yeah.
are you, are you happy with how everything turned out?
And yeah, I am really happy. I am actually passionate about what I do. In the last few years is when I've completely found out what my passion is, what my purpose in life is. And now I'm actually being able to go and help others. Yeah, completely happy about what I'm doing and just can't wait to help. I would say millions of people more. I'm just waiting for it to grow, the business to grow, and so that I can reach more and more audience through shows like yours and shows like, with different platforms and to be able to help others. That is my life's calling.
It's interesting, interviewing musicians, they always say it took them a long time to find their voice. And it seems kind of 2D, but it's very 4D. There's a lot that goes into it. And it's kind of the same thing when you find your calling. You can do things in your life, you can explore things, you can be good at it, but when you truly find that place, that happiness for you and helping other people, that has to take a lot of weight off of you and how you practice with with the clients that come to see you.
Absolutely correct. You're right. It took me a while. I mean, I did start meditating when I was very young, teenager, but I wasn't really into it, right? It took me a while to get into that regular practice. But I would say 5 years ago, even though I've been practicing a lot since I was like, 30 years ago is when I started, but I wasn't doing it every day, day in and day out. But, 5 years ago is something happened, right? Exactly September, 5 years ago, that is when a major event happened in my life. It's a friend's death who kind of got into me. It basically affected me a lot. And I started meditating day in and day out, right from that point forward. And 3 years after that, 2021 fall, is when I found the calling. And the calling, actually, I found that, okay, this is exactly what I need to be doing. But even I had to wait another 18 months after that period to really be able to courageously go back and think about, like, okay, you know what, I need to answer that calling. And the calling has been there for the last, 1.5 years. I haven't done anything about it. So now I just said, you know what, I need to stop what I'm doing. I need to completely focus on this 100% of the time and make sure that I just give it all and answer the calling and live for that purpose. And just that has been great. Already I can see the signs of, that I'm on the right track to help others. And I'm meeting people who are like-minded and, through in different platforms. And I'm already I already feel that, I'm making a deeper connection. And through even my technical background, I'm meeting people that I would have never met if I had not taken this courageous decision.
So let's go back to your childhood. Where were you born and raised, and what were the seeds that were put into you that wanted to help people and wanted to meditate? How did all of that become who you are today?
Yeah, I was born, interesting story. I was born in US back in 1970, late 70s in Philadelphia. My dad used to work here in Temple University, but like year and a half, 18 months into, as soon as, 1978, I did go back to India because my mom couldn't find a job. So my growing up years was all spent in India. And I would say it is a blessing because I was born in US, but brought up in, so I have both West and East. And the Eastern tradition is when I found my spiritual teacher when I was a teenager in 11th grade. Joined in 16 when I was 16 years old through my family member, through a cousin brother. That's how I knew about this teacher, which again, I wasn't I didn't know what I was getting into. I just thought it felt good to just close my eyes and meditate. And, that's how I started. And like 6 years after that, in late 90s, right before Y2K, is when I was able to get the opportunity to come back to US and to work here full time. And the great thing is my US passport helps. So my story is, yes, an immigrant, but I am maybe one of the special immigrants who had a passport from day one, and US passport. And I never tell that to many people, but it helped me, the upbringing of the spiritual lifestyle in the East. I would say the seeds were planted early, and I found my calling, even like, even when I was in India and when I went through this as a 20-year-old, when I was meditating, I knew this was something special. And I had found, a teacher whom I would have not found otherwise. So it was like a true calling. But then you go through life, right? And, go through jobs and all of that. I had to take a career, I had to work. And that was about 20 plus years. And then that's when, again, as I said earlier, a few years ago is when everything came into like a circle where I realized that, what, this is my true purpose now. I need to go and answer it. And that's why I would say I wouldn't call it a very good example, but I would say like an interesting example of a person who has both the West and East, and I guess equal mix. And I try to just, live my purpose in my life to give back to the wider world.
So who's been a hero for you in your life?
I would have to say my hero in my life, my current guide, is the spiritual teacher by the name of Kamlesh D. Patel. I'm not, again, human form. In human form, I haven't met him, but he has been, I would say, an hero that works behind the scenes without even saying a word. So he is the person who's guiding me a day in and day out, every moment, and that I would call him as my hero.
So if you can meet anybody alive on the planet right now and spend some time with them, who would it be?
I would say Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the Indian nation, and one of the best examples of nonviolent movement, and a person who lived for his ideals, and the architect of a person who got the independence for India without any kind of bloodshed in terms of war. So I would like to meet him.
So obviously, Gandhi had a great amount of motivation and passion. What is that for you? What gets you out of bed? What gets you moving every day to not only accomplish what you want to get done, but to help people?
What gets me out of bed every day is like to give back, right? It's very simple. So I know what I'm getting every day from from my meditative practice. I know the grace that is flowing through me, and I want to be a conduit, right? I want to be a river of divine grace to flow to others, and that's what gets me out of bed, to help people, to just live my life's purpose of helping others achieve what I have been able to achieve, and where I'm actually being able to keep getting better and keep giving back to everyone.
So, what has been one of your best client success stories that always puts a smile on your face?
The best client success story would be helping a person who was undergoing severe anxiety attacks, panic attacks. And this was a few weeks ago, just a few weeks ago. Is this person I met through LinkedIn, through a mutual friend, and we got in touch, and I, meditated with her, and then I gave her a technique of called the fear detox, and I actually meditate. Basically, during the meditation, I gave her this technique and I asked her to try it and write down how she felt. And then I've been able to just follow up with her since then. And she's already doing better. And now she's actually meditating with me almost like every day. She's attending my audio events and meditating with me and sharing about it. And now she's also sharing that technique with others, and we have become great, I would say, more than customer client relationship. I would say more of a lifetime buddy. And I found a true friend who believes in this, what I do, and is able to use that technique also, and get the benefit from it, and also start sharing it with others.
So, you've clearly helped a lot of people. In your life, what's been the best advice that you've ever gotten that you've used and resonates still to this day with you?
The best advice I would say is never. So I would say this came from my teacher, spiritual teacher, and it took me a while to realize it and then start practicing it. It is about never judging others but yourself. That is the statement I go by. I never look at with anybody with prejudice, and I always look at, I am the most, I would say, the worst critic of myself. And I never judge others, and I judge myself, and to make sure that, I always look for the defects in myself, which leads me to and if I find somebody doing something a different, like a particular behavior, I just feel like, what is inside of me that is reacting to it, and I try to change. So that's what is the best advice I've lived by, since I realized what it is and started practicing it.
So, of all of the things that you've accomplished and overcome in your life, what are you the proudest of?
The proudest accomplishment, I would say, is finding the true calling by practicing, by meditation. The proudest, even though I started way back a few decades ago, after really realizing the true purpose of the human life, and of what I need to do and what do I need to do to give back, and having realized that a few years ago, has been the proudest accomplishment so far.
So, let's say you have a dream tonight and you run into a 20-year-old version of yourself. And you could give that young version of you a piece of advice based on the wisdom you've gained up to this point in your life. What advice would you give your younger self?
I would give the only advice I would give is meditate without fail, right? To 90 days, at least meditate without fail for 90 days and write down what you feel in your journal, and then realize, what, comes out of it. That's the only advice I would give myself of 20 years.
So, what is the greatest thing about living in India? As somebody that's never been there, what did you like the best about living there?
The greatest thing about living in India, as they call it, it's more of like a spiritual, like they call it in Indian terms, puja room, or a religious room of the world. The best thing is the cosmopolitan culture of each and every city being different, and each and every state being different, and different languages, the food, obviously, and the deep spiritual connection that everyone has, even if depending on whatever religion that they belong to, there is an undercurrent of something that is beyond explanation. And it's a beautiful country too, and of even with all the crowd and all the noise and all of that, and that's what makes India India.
Yeah. So if you could witness any event in human history that took place on this planet, see it with your own eyes, what would you love to have seen firsthand?
That's a very good question. I would say the nuclear testing that they did, Oppenheimer, what they did with the Manhattan Project, and what the scientist Oppenheimer actually quoted from Bhagavad Gita when he actually witnessed what was going on, and he kind of thought that he was like, the person, like the destruction, right? The God of creation or whatever. He was able to have the power to destroy the world. I would like to witness that, what happened on that day, the first time that they tested, and kind of just, it was a immense power that we got as humans. I know it has been misused, but it also says that, with proper working together as a team, you can achieve anything that is possible. And that is one of the, pivotal moments which changed the course of human history, with the World War coming to an end. Otherwise, it would have gone on for who knows how long.
Yeah, for sure. So everyone out there has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, colleagues, but you ultimately run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think I am a student of spirituality who is just trying to keep getting better every single day to become a better version of myself. And I am journeying, I'm uh, going towards infinity in the spiritual journey. And also, I am I am a service person. I try to give back to community, and I won't stop that until the day it is time for me to leave.
So if anyone wants to hire you, learn more about you, anything about your world, where's the best place to go?
They can see, go to my website, which is growthcoach.co, or they can also look me up on LinkedIn. I am on linkedin.com/in Anand B Growth Coach. So for every social media that is out there, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, my handle is Anand B Growth Coach for most of them. And that's how they can reach me. And, they can hire me through LinkedIn. In my profile, right below my face, there is a link that they can click to schedule 20 minutes. I call it a visionary business prelude. That is a 20 minutes complimentary call that I can provide, and to just talk to them and find out if my service is going to be right for them.
Anand, this has been great. Thank you so much for opening up. Thanks for your story. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thanks a lot. It's been great to be a guest on your show.
Yes, sir. And